those concerns about the race card, and they're kind of coming down a bit harsh on people from Africa. And you all are saying when it's only like, what, 4%?
Correct. In fact, 2% this year.
Right, okay. So 2% this year, it's very negligible, you're saying, in the grand scheme of things. It's not that it's 80% Africans, and then whenever we pick up a Guyanese or St. Lucian, we just send them back as well. That we go out looking for African, immigrants, right? But we spoke with Kafra Cambon yesterday. I don't know if you happened to see, right. One of his issues was not probably the legality of it, but how it's done. He's saying that it's done where the people who are being deported aren't given any, time to organize themselves before they go. Their wives are barely told that they're going. They don't get some personal artifacts to carry back. What is your response to that?
Mr. Cameron keeps shifting the goalpost constantly, because every time he says he's playing this game of you keep making false statements over and over and hope that people will believe it. The first false statement he stated was that there was the majority of persons in the Immigration Detention Center, they were Africans. It's totally false, 17%. He then shifted the goalpost to say that the number of persons being deported were Africans. False again. 2% from Africa. He shifts the goalpost once more and then says, well, this is how they were being treated. Yet again, false and misleading. Because the fact of the matter is that the persons, when they are to be deported in all the other countries, we do not have the issues that take place with the small percentage of Nigerians, very small percentage of Africans, I should say, 2%. What happens firstly is that the persons that are supposed to be deported back to Africa, they deliberately give false information. By doing that, it delays the process for them to be repatriated. 2, they refuse to sign the visa forms, because whereas in other countries in the Caribbean, North America, Europe, Asia, there's not a problem with visas, but the persons from Africa need to have a visa for them to go in transit to the United States or United Kingdom. They refuse to sign the visa. 3, other countries now, they will see about the well-being of their own citizens, and they will provide the airfare to get them back to their country. This is not done for Africa. 4, when it is that we actually inform them of what is taking place, they disappear. What has taken place with 2 of the individuals who were informed of what was taking place. So the whole list is right there to show that this has nothing to do with some sort of a covert operation. It doesn't grab persons from Africa and put them onto an aircraft. There's a process, and they have continuously refused to adhere to what is required. And again, it is a straightforward case. This is not a matter of witch hunting. It's a matter of if you're an illegal immigrant, no one is stating that out of the 100,000+ illegal immigrants, that all of them, they need to go back to their home country. What we are saying is that you need to be regularized. If you are not regularized, it means that we do not know where you are, what you're doing. We do not know if you are a liability to the public purse or a threat to national security. And in addition to which, the country is losing billions of dollars. I've seen some very comical letters to the editor about why we spent $2 million on a Caribbean airline aircraft. It's millions of dollars.
Right, then you explain that a little bit when it came to question on our email here. The question for the minister, it's what about the influx of Pakistanis and Indians who are now here, and they keep coming in and they're setting up businesses all over the country and not paying taxes.
And that is totally inaccurate. And this is where it is. It is
what's inaccurate? That there's an influx of.
No, if I could finish, I'll explain. The concern people speak about, well, listen, we've seen a lot of Chinese and Indians. Many more. It is 10 times more of these persons have been sent back than Africa. However, what we are stating is that there is, in fact, and the businessmen have spoken to me about it, there is, in fact, a shortage for labor. So it is not that we are not welcoming persons to come into the country, but do your job. Do your homework. The businessmen, they will send the forms to the Ministry of National Security requesting persons from whether it be Africa, India, China, Timbuktu. Come forward and they say that, listen, we'd like to have these persons come to Trinidad and Tobago because we have a problem with labor in our company.
You mentioned earlier something about that there's a lack of cooperation, more oftentimes than not, from illegal immigrants. That, it's not that you all have dogs barking at them. They can. It's very diplomatic at times, where you ask them for certain documents, sign certain forms, and it can be done, and things can be done much smoother. But you're saying that they don't. Is there a certain tendency from one group of immigrants, or from particularly one part of the world, to not be so cooperative? Are you all finding specific problem with African nationals?
And a few, and these few will be who Mr. Campbell would want to pinpoint. So it's not that all persons from Africa will have this concern. When it is that they realize, listen, I have broken the law, and it is not just breaking the law by being an illegal immigrant. They have also broken the law in criminal activities in Trinidad and Tobago. Several of those persons deported, they were seeking presidential pardons because they were involved in criminal activities. So this is not a case of, well, we're just going to ship you back because you're an illegal immigrant and you extended your stay. The fact of the matter is that whereas most persons in the other countries, as I have stated, the home country will assist them because they're looking after the interests of their citizens. The individual themselves will try to arrange their airfare. They will be very cooperative in filling out the forms whilst at the Immigration Detention Center. We have seen a small percentage of persons from Africa, they deliberately put false information. It makes it difficult for us to go through the process because remember it has to go through foreign affairs and the home country and so forth. Then they do not want to sign the visa. Sometimes they disappear, and just as what has happened. And we have seen this problem. So when Mr. Campbell speaks that the persons from Nigeria or Ghana, they remain in the Immigration Detention Center longer than most because they are not cooperative, and it is not because of the Immigration Department. They have done very well, and we intend to improve the problems of the Immigration Detention Center. I do applaud Mr. Campbell for his passion, but at times I think his passion it becomes clouded with facts, and that is what I'm communicating with him. I've looked at some of his concerns, and some of them are very legitimate. And I've looked the Immigration Detention Center.
What are some of the improvements? Because I remember we got a few phone calls before. Maybe one of the guys who got deported recently, but we got a call saying that the guards there, the people working there, were treating them with much disrespect. They were saying, "Oh, you all want to go to the media? Well, you know." We don't have to...
There are always two sides to a story, because the reports that we have is that they were very abusive. Some of them would be involved in a virtual confrontation with the security officers. But be it as it may, what we are doing is looking at situations to have a security risk factor based on the individual, a stress assessment, to know how much security is required for those individuals in the Immigration
Detention Center. Another word, a fancy word for jail?
No, it's not. It is not.
What does it look like? Is it bars and
to be a citizen? You want to be in this country, but you don't want to pay taxes.
Right. If I'm to be deported, so all my things don't check out. You know, I'm very uncooperative. I have to be. Let's say they're going to send me back to Africa, or let me say they're going to send me back to Ghana, or send me back to Jamaica in the morning. And I tell you, I have a wife here. I was living here for a couple of years. Yes. I have a house here. Is it that you're going to come on the day and tell me, listen, there's pick up your stuff, there's a plane waiting, you're going back today?
No, it's not that, and that is the point. It is only...
What is the process then? How soon do you let me know that I have to go?
You're told what is happening, and you report to you either provide your own plane tickets, the one-way ticket to get back to your home country, or that home country will facilitate the situation for you to actually get back to your home country. The problem is that there's a few persons going back to Africa. They are aware of what is taking place. They do not show up, which has happened this time with two persons who came with this that sick leave certificate, and now we still can't find them, and now they're basic fugitives. And again, in the situations in the Caribbean, it is not an aircraft that needs to be chartered, because you just go on a Caribbean airline aircraft and get back to your home country, especially in the Caribbean. The situation with Africa is because a visa is required, so that is why we have to do. There was no other way that they could have returned to Africa other than the Caribbean Airlines aircraft.
These things, of course, is always a straightforward issue when it comes to getting your documents in order. I know the Dewey Guild of Students sent out a release a couple months back, and this was at a time when there was a lot of industrial action going on at the Immigration Department, and they were saying a lot of their international students, their papers, I don't know the technicality of it, but the papers were up, and they were getting trouble renewing it, and the students were petrified.
Yes.
That during exam times they were going to be sent back because they couldn't get this thing updated, they couldn't get this thing renewed, because there literally wasn't anywhere to go and get it. And I know a lot of our nationals had problems even with their passports, so they could sympathize a bit. So Mr. Cameron is saying that it's not as easy as that. He brought up someone doing with their master's degree, working here as well, and it may be different from a militant. and he suggested an independent review committee has just to preside over things like this, to make it person specific. Is there something in place like that already, or is any consideration being given to something like that?
So with this window that we are providing now over the next few months, giving illegal immigrants this opportunity to come forward, regularize yourself, obviously it's going to be a lot more work. I had a meeting with the chief immigration officer to explain that, listen, I would like to establish a very small unit to deal specifically, because we are speaking out to the 100,000, at least 50,000 will now apply, because now we are trying to get this thing right. This is not about trying to do what is politically correct. We are doing what is required, and this has not been done before. It was very ironic that the PNM actually stated that, well, listen, we knew about this since 2005, and so we at the PNM saw this problem, and that is the difference. They saw the problem. My job is to get the solution, and that is what we are doing. This is sometimes seen as taboo in politics. Let's not go there, but it's something that needs to be done. So there would be that opportunity now for persons to regularize themselves. What happened previously is that if you go forward to regularize yourself, and then it is seen that, listen, you're here illegally, we will ship you back, and then you have to come back in. So this is a window. It is not an amnesty.
I was going to ask you.
It is not an amnesty. It is something to an amnesty. Means that everyone who is here, we will allow you free access to remain in the country. That is not the fact. That is not the case, because we are aware that there are persons of interest, persons who are threat to national security, and persons who are liability to the public purse, where they are utilizing state resources, education, health, transportation, and so forth, and housing, and they are not contributing to the state. So you can't utilize the state resources and not contribute. In addition to which, we are actually looking after the well-being of these illegal immigrants, because it is a fact as well that businessmen have abused the process, knowing fully well that these persons are illegal immigrants. They cannot go to a union, they are not paying BIR, so they pay them below the minimum wage, especially in the security industry. And because of that, now we can't just, this is something closely indentured labor. We have the same situation with women from South America being totally manipulated, and this is something close to slavery. So we can't just see this problem and ignore it. Trinidad and Tobago, within the last year, we have been upgraded in the tier 2, in the watch list for human trafficking by the US State Department, from tier 2 watch list to tier 2. I intend for us to move even further, and by doing this, we have to deal with this problem of the abuse of illegal immigrants by businessmen.
Okay.